over the last 10 years that what I've been essentially, researching into what makes certain people, so successful with what they do. How come they can, grow in their career or land the job they want or land the clients they want and grow in their roles or in their entrepreneurship. How can they do that with certain other people, and how certain people are much more happier in their lives than the others, and how come certain people achieve their goals while others don't. So I try to understand why certain people essentially perform better at life, or can do a lot more things and can achieve better things and more. So I wanted to see if there's a difference, or are we coming pre-built, right? Being capable of only achieving certain things. And I realized is that I found there's when I was researching people who are what I would say highly successful or effective in various fields. I found that there are certain habits and practices these individuals actually follow. So, and these are the ones that I see, when I'm doing my research, even among executives, I'm continuing to see in these patterns over and over again. The best ones seems to follow certain patterns to, essentially take care of themselves. And they also know certain information. It seems either they know it purposefully or because of their family or environment they're in contributed. It could be either one. But what I'm recognizing more and more is that there are certain habits and practices among people who are getting the results they want in life and living a lot more happier and achieving their dreams. So again, I'm still kind of learning and practicing these things myself. But one of the things from the people who have where I'm studied so far, they have had success. So I have a story where I kind of used a similar model to do well in university. So when I first started to go to university in my first and second year, I didn't really do too well. I mean, it was my GPA was out of 4, and it was around 2.5, 2.7, 2.8, around that mark. And I realized, I wanted to do really well. I feel like I was actually studying pretty hard, but for whatever reason, I wasn't able to get, cross that, 70, 75 mark. So I couldn't really figure out what I needed to do in my courses in university. So what I started to do was I started to research or search people who would be getting either 3.9 or 90s in their courses. So essentially a group of individuals or someone essentially who can tell me, who's essentially getting a 90 or 3.9 or around those grades, can tell me what they are doing in order to get the grades they are getting. So when I was researching, I actually found that when I was in university, it was end of my second year. In the summer, I was actually saying, what, I needed to find a group of individuals who can kind of tell me who's actually top of their field, like getting the best grades, and who can tell me what they're doing. And I started to, follow them and started to understand what they're doing. And I started to write down what they're doing, how they study for multiple choice exams, how do they create their study plan, how do they study their textbook, everything, like details. I wrote everything down. And I started to do a little bit at a time, not everything, because they gave me, I think, 30 pieces of also advice, and then I wrote it down, and then I started to do a little bit, not everything, because I knew I was not able to do everything he told me. So I started to do a little bit. The first semester I applied that information, I applied that guidance, I was able to get a GPA of 3.4. And then since then, it just kept going and going. And by the time I graduated with university, I graduated with high distinction and graduated with 3.9 for the last two years because of that advice. So that I realized is like studying the best people in the field is one of the best ways actually to learn about how to essentially climb that field, right? Or accelerate yourself in that field. So studying the best people in the field. So that's one of the best models I learned from these individuals, is that learning from the best is one of the best ways you can essentially master your skills and advance in your field. So one of the first things. So I decided to do the same thing when it comes to personal development and business and career. So that's what I've decided is essentially, I mean, I'm practicing these exact habits and practices that I'll be showing you about. And also, and I'm going to be talking about how to essentially for you to apply them in your life as well. Okay.